So the IFA is celebrating its 70th anniversary since its founding this year. How important is it to farmers today as it was in 1955?
I think it's every bit as important. The challenges are slightly different. I think the regulation that's imposed on farmers today from all sides is a lot more than it was then. And I think the association has evolved over the 70 years. The staff we have today, we've over 70 professional staff working for us in all areas to be able to support farmers in terms of policy, how that's regulated, finance, and across the board.
And since taking up your presidency, Francie, what would you say have been your biggest achievements so far?
Well, it's been a very busy year since Tim handed over to me this time last year. And look, I think our big issue during the year was to make sure that we got agriculture and farming front and central in the election debates, both at local and European and into the Dáil. And I think the programme for government reflects that. While it's short in terms of financial specifics, the ambitions in it are kind of where we would expect it to be after our discussions with the various political parties, and particularly even though it's a single issue, the commitment around Mercosur to oppose the current deal is very welcome. And we've got other issues like the sorting out of the straw chop, and the advance payment in acres that the minister did was to be very welcome. And look, I think we had a good relationship overall with the minister during the year, and whoever is minister in the next government, we look forward to the same relationship again.
And what are some of the biggest issues that your association is focusing on at the minute, and some of the biggest challenges for farmers currently?
Well, I suppose I didn't reference it, but it's ongoing from the beginning of the year, and we said it. The derogation obviously is a huge issue. And I think the way that all stakeholders, farm organisations, the industry have come together, support from the various political parties of the need to hold on to it is very welcome. But to be clear, farmers need to continue doing what they've done for the last 12 to 18 months. And we've got to have the political support that's promised to hold on to the derogation. That's a huge one. The nature restoration law, the ongoing involvement of the CAP negotiations, which will really take off this year. And the cost of doing business and how regulation increases the cost of production at farm level is something that's going to have to be addressed as well.
And how do you plan to help farmers in 2025? What will the focus be on?
Well, it'll be kind of more the same. I'm a believer that the day job is very important, that every day you get up you have to stay addressing the issues that are of importance to farmers, and we've gone through them kind of already, and to approach them in a fact-based manner, to be credible in how we go about negotiations and how we go about trying to deliver for farmers, and whatever has to be done for farmers during the year to try and deliver on that agenda, we will do. And look, we'll be hoping that farmers, whatever we ask them to do at whatever stage, that they'll back us. And I've always believed that once farmers see that you're making a genuine effort to deliver for them, they'll back you.
And the new government is due to be formed shortly. What will be the main asks for farmers to the new government and to whoever may be the Minister for Agriculture?
Well, I think alongside the issues that we've announced already, I think it's very important that the government sits down and discusses the important issues of the day with farmers, because there is a disconnect between people who are creating policy and how it's operated on the ground, because a lot of those people, through no fault of their own, no longer come from a farming background, and they don't see how it's going to be implemented at farm level. So on top of delivering on all the issues that we've mentioned, we do need to see a continuation of real discussion around how policy is formulated and how it's implemented.
And in celebration now of the 70th anniversary of the IFA, you'll be holding your AGM shortly. Could you tell me a little bit about what people might expect at that and what lies ahead for the association?
So we have a 2-day AGM this year to mark 70 years of the founding of the association on the 6th of January 1955. The keynote of the 2 days will be the visit of the new Commissioner for Agriculture, and I've had the opportunity to hear him in Brussels and was really impressed by him. I'll be looking forward to our own members hearing, and obviously traditionally we would have had the Taoiseach and the Minister for Agriculture in, but with government likely to be formed on the day, we're not sure yet whether they will be in attendance or not. But look, if they're not there this year, we'll be looking forward to having them in years to come. But overall, I'm looking forward to the 2 days. And look, to be fair, this association has been built on the people who went before us and the people who took the hard yards, and it's our job to try and make sure that we can just follow in their footsteps and keep doing the job on the founding principles of the association.
And speaking to the Commissioner at the AGM, what points will you get across in terms of Mercosur?
The importance and the damage that the Mercosur deal is going to have, particularly on our beef and our poultry industry, and there's huge opposition to it across Europe. He knows that. And obviously, generation renewal is a huge issue. And keep making the point that if we don't have the next generation of farmers coming to replace the likes of myself, we're not going to have an industry. And the way you support the next generation of farmers, it's twofold. You need incentives there to bring them in. You need incentives for people to hand over. But you have to support the current generation of farmers as well, because if you don't have something to hand over, there's no point in putting incentives in place.
And how does the IFA plan to help these young farmers?
We'll engage with the Commission on Generational Renewal that the Minister has set up. It's going to report in a very short time frame, and there's a commitment in the programme for government to support the next generation of farmers coming in. So around the incentives that we've spoken about and how you support the next generation, we'll be making our submission based on those two principles.